The rain pounded down relentlessly as I sprinted through the empty streets, my violin case clutched tightly in one hand. Tears streamed down my face, blending with the raindrops. My lungs burned and my throat was raw from shouting his name over and over into the storm. I don't know how many times I stumbled and fell, skinning my knees on the rough pavement. But I kept running, driven by desperation and heartbreak, until I reached the train station. Standing alone on the platform at 5 a.m., soaked to the bone and shivering, the horrible truth finally sank in. He was gone. I had lost him, lost everything. Life as I knew it was over. The game was finished, and I had been defeated. 9 months earlier, I stood by the perpetually open window in my grandfather's rustic kitchen, eyes closed, breathing in the earthy scent of the surrounding woods. Sonata No. 2 drifted softly from the little speaker on the counter as I called out, "Coffee's ready." "How ready?" Grandpa's voice came from right behind me, startling me. I turned to see him already in the kitchen. "You're here. Good morning." I smiled. "It's going to be much better than the swill I subjected you to yesterday, promise." He raised a dubious eyebrow. "We'll see about that," he said with a wink. Glancing out at the gray sky, he added, "Looks like rain. I'll find someone to fix that window today." That was the first time I saw him. I was heading home after a long day of practicing violin in the forest, tired and famished, when I noticed a tall, tanned young man with long blonde hair pulled back from his bearded face, working to repair Grandpa's kitchen window. Not wanting to engage in pleasantries in my exhausted state, I kept my head down, hoping to slip by unnoticed. But curiosity got the better of me. I snuck a glance at him and our eyes met briefly as his hair fell across his brow. Flustered, I quickly opened the door and darted inside. Lord, he was handsome, but the random repairman soon slipped from my mind. He was new in town, like I had been a few months before. A quiet, serious type, he was rarely seen around, even in a community as tiny as ours. After that first sighting, I gave the window repairman little thought, until I ran into him again. On a balmy morning, seeking a tranquil spot to practice, I settled by the river. It wasn't my favorite place, but the serenity drew me in. I was working on Sonata No. 2, and found the flowing water complemented the music beautifully. Pausing to dip my fingers in the cool stream, I was startled to see someone on the opposite bank staring at me intently. It was him. Noticing my look of surprise tinged with pleased embarrassment, he raised the hand not holding his fishing rod in a wave and flashed a smile. "Haven't caught a thing, but I got a free concert out of it," he called out. I laughed. "Glad you enjoyed it. You know you've been playing for over an hour straight?" He'd been listening the whole time? "In that case, I should start charging after the first 30 minutes. I joked. "I came here to live a different life," he confessed once. "To escape the path I was supposed to take. But I'm not running away, not really." He had one condition: I wasn't allowed to ask about his past. Not where he was from, what he used to do, his family, and especially not why he wanted to keep it secret. "Can you handle that?" he asked. I didn't say yes, but I also didn't say no. What were we to each other? The question consumed me. Returning home, I poured my inner turmoil into my violin, playing more fervently with each swirling thought. Why was I even asking myself this? Why did it matter so much? Why had he chosen to share this with me? Why did I care? Not agreeing to his terms would mean losing him, but agreeing would mean being with someone whose true self remained a mystery. "Why do you think my past experiences define who I am?" he challenged gently. "They've shaped me into the person I am now, and that's what counts. I can't hide my true nature. I am who I am. Isn't that enough?" And so our story began. At 18, what did I know of true maturity? I'd moved to the quaint town to stay with Grandpa, a retired music professor, for a year of focused violin practice before my college entrance exam, free of urban distractions and pressures. When I met him, he was maybe 24. Our worlds could not have been more different. I knew nothing of his reality, yet sensed instinctively I would never belong there. I used to believe leaving home, going to college, becoming a legal adult, surely those milestones would make me mature. How wrong I was. Only one thing can make you grow up: love, and love alone. Over the next months, we grew closer, as natural and inevitable as a sprout seeking sunlight. Our encounters started casually, passing chats by the river as I practiced and he fished, a shared laugh in the town square, little moments of brightness in my intensive study schedule. Coffee together in the mornings became a ritual. He'd bring his latest carpentry project and I'd play snippets of music, enchanted by how his strong, work-roughened hands could craft such delicate wooden figurines. We talked about everything and nothing. Well, almost everything. His past remained an unbreachable topic. I didn't push, even as I fell harder each day, captivated by his gentle strength, his passion for embracing a simple life. He taught me about finding beauty in the ordinary, how to really see people, the world around me. In his presence, I felt more anchored, more myself than ever before. Grandpa noticed, of course. He'd smile knowingly as we lingered over breakfast, lost in conversation. Once he warned me to guard my heart. "I know the look of a woman in love," he said, "but there's a shadow behind that boy's eyes. Be careful." I brushed off his concern. What did it matter, not knowing every detail of his history? His soul was an open book to me, the important parts, at least, or so I thought. He had nightmares sometimes. He tried to hide them, but the haunted look would linger in the morning. I ached to take away his pain, but felt helpless, shut out from that corner of his life. "I wish you'd let me in," I whispered once as we sat by the river at dusk, my head on his shoulder. "I want to understand, to help." "You do help," he said, lightly trailing his fingers along my arm. "More than you know, but the past needs to stay where it is." "Why?" I shifted to face him. "Why keep secrets from me? Don't you trust me?" His eyes shuddered. "Of course I do, but there are things I've done that I'm not proud of, that you shouldn't have to carry. I don't care what you've done. I love you for who you are now." He kissed me softly. "I know, and that means everything. But you fell in love with the person I am here, away from all that. I don't want it to change how you see me." I wanted to argue, but sensed it would only push him further away. So I simply held him tighter, silently pouring my love and acceptance into the embrace, praying it would be enough. The morning of my birthday, I woke to an empty bed. He'd never stayed the night before, not properly. But I'd thought maybe, for this occasion, disappointment battled with worry as I noticed a folded note on the pillow. My heart in my throat, I reached for it, fearing the worst. But it merely said, "Meet me at our spot. Yours, M." I threw on clothes and raced for the river, dread and anticipation warring within me. He was already there, facing the water. He turned as I approached and I gasped. He was clean-shaven, hair cut short, wearing a suit I'd never seen. He looked like a stranger. "What?" I stared, trying to reconcile this polished figure with my rural rogue. He held up a hand. "Please, let me get this out." He took a deep breath. "I know I've asked you not to question my past, and you've respected that, even though I know it's been hard." His voice quavered slightly and he cleared his throat. "The truth is, I'm not who you think I am, or rather, who I've let you believe. I didn't grow up some small-town laborer, looking to find myself in the countryside. My family, we're Russian oligarchs, wealthy and powerful. Everything I've ever done has been in service to their interests. The business, the politics, all of it." I stood frozen as he continued. I couldn't take it anymore. The corruption, the lies. I'm not like them. I wanted out, so I ran. Ended up here. He looked at me pleadingly. "This place, this life with you, it's the only honest thing I've ever known. You've shown me what it means to be good, truly good. And I love you for it, with all that I am." Tears blurred my vision as I processed his revelation. He stepped closer and took my hands. "I want a future with you, a real one with no more secrets. Come away with me. I have a plan for us, resources, connections. We can disappear, start over somewhere new." I didn't know what to think, what to feel. My simple country love had transformed in an instant into something huge and consuming and terrifying. I need a minute," I pulled away, moving to stand by the river's edge, my back to him. The world felt like it was spinning. I closed my eyes, trying to center myself. I heard his voice, quiet and close behind me. "I'm so sorry for hiding the truth. I was trying to protect you, protect what we have. But I should have trusted you could handle it. That we could still." He trailed off and I felt, more than heard, him turn to walk away. In that moment, I knew. "Wait." I spun around. He froze mid-stride. "I love you. The real you, not just the man I thought you were. We'll figure this out." I flew into his arms and he crushed me to him. And for that perfect, shining moment, the shadows of his past and the uncertainty of our future fell away. There was only us and the bone-deep conviction that together, somehow, we would find our way through. And we almost did. For 2 blissful weeks, we planned and schemed, reimagining a life far from anything either of us had ever known. He showed me pictures of the seaside villa he'd secured with his untouched trust fund, taught me phrases in languages I'd never spoken. It was thrilling and daunting and so full of promise. "Tomorrow," he murmured one night as we lay entangled. "We'll leave tomorrow. Are you ready, my love?" I sealed my answer with a passionate kiss. Completely. Again, I woke alone. But this time there was no note, only an empty drawer where his things had been. He was just finalizing travel preparations. I told myself, tamping down unease. He'd be back any minute now. But the minutes bled into hours, and still our room remained achingly vacant. A knock startled me and I lurched for the door, flinging it open. It wasn't him. A somber man in a dark suit stood in the hall. My stomach plummeted as he flashed an official-looking badge and uttered the words that shattered me.
"I'm sorry, Mom."
"There's been an accident." The rain pounded down relentlessly as I sprinted through the empty streets, my violin case clutched tightly in one hand. Tears streamed down my face, blending with the raindrops. My lungs burned and my throat was raw from shouting his name over and over into the storm. I don't know how many times I stumbled and fell, skinning my knees on the rough pavement, but I kept running, driven by desperation and heartbreak, until I reached the train station. Standing alone on the platform at 5 a.m., soaked to the bone and shivering, the horrible truth finally sank in. He was gone. I had lost him, lost everything. The agent's words echoed in my mind. There had been a car waiting on the tarmac. His plane never took off.
"No survivors."
He'd said there would be risks, that his family might try to stop him. I hadn't truly believed. The ache in my chest threatened to consume me. The future we'd envisioned, the lifetime of love and partnership, gone in a screech of tires and twisted metal. But beneath the drowning grief, an ember of fury sparked to life. They'd taken him from me, the family he'd tried so hard to escape. I wouldn't let it end like this. Maturity isn't a function of age or academics. It's not even a result of love, I know that now. True maturity is forged in pain, in loss. In the moment you realize that fairy tale endings are fallacies and the only thing you control is what comes next. I don't know what I'm going to do or how I'm going to do it. But one thing is certain. The little violin protege who ran away to the countryside is gone. Someone new stands in her place. Someone who will stop at nothing to get justice for the man she loves. No matter how long it takes or what the cost. Watch out, oligarchs. I'm coming for you.